Hi, how are you doing? My name is Rohit and I'll be breaking down the 68th match of this year's IPL with Saudi Royal Challengers Bengaluru taking on the Chennai Super Kings in the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru. And this one was for everything. For RCB, if they won, they still weren't guaranteed to make the playoffs. If they had to chase, they had to chase this down in 18.1 overs or faster. If they batted first, they had to win by 18 runs or more if they score 200 or more. For CSK, it was simple. Win and you're in, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Or you lose if you're bowling second. If you let RCB win after 18.1 overs, if you score 200 or more. Or if you're chasing 200 or more, lose by 17 runs or less. And that was the equation for both teams. It's this or that, and that was it. And would you believe it? The Royal Challengers Bengaluru have made it 6 in a row, and more importantly, winning by 27 runs. 10 more than what they needed to win by in order to qualify for the playoffs over CSK. Both teams finishing on 14 points. RCB going ahead on net run rate. CSK finishes 5th, just out of the playoffs. And now, the 4 teams are set, and we only know 2 positions, number 1 and number 4. We have KKR, the Kolkata Knight Riders, at number 1, the Royal Challengers Bengaluru at number 2. And depending on what happens tomorrow, we will know who between the Sunrisers Hyderabad and Rajasthan Royals will be at number 3 and number 2 respectively. But that's not the focus of today. Today is about how RCB, who at one point only won 1 match out of 8, they were at the bottom of the table at the halfway stage. How they won 6 straight, including this one that meant everything. Because this team was riding the edge from the start. One misstep anywhere, they were done. Anything that could have damaged their net run rate, they were done. So not only did they need to win these matches, they needed to win convincingly. And even then, come the final day, it almost wasn't enough. But this RCB team came together at the right time, which has been their MO and the way that they've won all of these games in all this stretch. That's how they've won. And, well, they're in. And so for the RCB fans, maybe, just maybe, Isala Cup Namde? I mean, they've already won 6. Who says they can't win another 3 on the trot? But all that excitement aside, let's talk about how they got there. And again, like I said, full team effort. Everybody contributed with the bat, no matter how small. Virat Kohli, 47 from 29. Faf du Plessis, 54 from 39. Massive opening partnership to set things up. Rajat Patidar continued his good form. No half century, but 41 from 23 at a healthy strike rate of 178. Cameron Green, who found form with the bat last time, he continued that good form. And also he got a bit of a reprieve. Ruturaj Gaikwad drops 1, and it also trickled away for 4. So not only was it a dropped wicket, but also went for 4 extra runs. And all these margins count, because after that wicket, well, dropped wicket, Cameron Green just went ham. 38 from 17, a strike rate of well over 200. And this man can strike a cricket ball, and he made CSK feel it. Dinesh Karthik and Glenn Maxwell, 14 from 6, 16 from 5 respectively. Every single small contribution mattered, because all of these contributions in the end added up to just enough for RCB to make it through on net run rate. And that's the beauty of sport. That's the beauty of the IPL. Every single margin, no matter how small, throughout the entire season adds up. You want to go back all the way to the first few weeks of the season when RCB couldn't buy a win if they wanted to. Dinesh Karthik's 83 from 35, I think that was his score, against Sunrisers Hyderabad when SRH scored over 270 or something around there against RCB in the M. Chinnaswamy itself. That massive burst at the back end for RCB, that 80-odd from 35. That mattered. Because that run rate that Dinesh Karthik salvaged at the very beginning of the season, come the final day, they needed every single one of those runs. Because again, RCB needed to win by 18 runs or more. They won by 27. A couple of hits here and there from CSK. Guess what? Even if they won, they were done. But here's the thing. People will say maybe RCB could have gotten more because during that middle phase for RCB, they were struggling because there was some rain and the play was stopped for a bit actually. RCB started 30 without loss, 3 overs. They were on par to score 200. Obviously, they scored 218, well above 200. But during the middle overs and not even the middle overs, just the second half of the power play towards the middle overs, from overs 4 through 10, because of the rain delay, because it was raining, all of a sudden, the ball starts to stick in the pitch a bit. There's a lot of grip. There's a lot of turn. Mahesh Deekshita and Mitchell Santner exploited it to perfection. Between the two of them, in just 8 overs, they only gave up 48 runs. But here's what's important at that 48 runs. In 8 overs, they only got 1 wicket. And Mitchell Santner also ended up getting another one after a phenomenal effort to somehow get a fingertip on the ball, ricochets into the stumps. Faf du Plessis is caught with his bat in the air at the non-striker's end. Well, here's the thing. I just want to go back to that one, and credit to the third umpire, Michael Go. I think that's how you say his name. He asked for ultra edge just to see if Mitchell Santner's finger touched the ball. I've never seen that in my life, and lo and behold, it did. But, again, this is just a game of small margins, but the fact that they only got 1 wicket, CSK, there, and here's the thing. Santner and Deekshita were consistently beating RCB with the turn, with the grip. The RCB batters were an absolute blender. But somehow, no edges found the bat, no false strokes found the fielders, and somehow none of the balls hit the stumps. And when it's your day, it's your day. RCB rode all of that to that total. And you know how somehow nothing ever really went for the CSK fielders? Everything went straight to the RCB fielders, and for CSK, things started off horrendously. They lost Ruturaj Gaikwad for a golden duck off the very first ball of their chase. And here's the thing. This is a very winnable chase because the ball didn't really do much towards the back end. There was some dew. There was some moisture on the pitch. The ball was slipping out the hand. It is a very wet ball, and you cannot bowl that well with a wet ball. And Ruturaj Gaikwad, golden duck first ball. CSK is already behind the 8 ball. Daryl Mitchell, false stroke, already out. CSK lose 2 wickets within the first 3 overs, which has been a common thing for them. And they're behind the 8 ball again. Ajinkya Rahane and Rachin Ravindra, who very much did incredibly well today. 61 from 37, mature knock, understanding the situation, playing to the situation. But, again, ultimately it wasn't enough. Ajinkya Rahane tries to accelerate against Lockie Ferguson, gets out. Shivam Dube struggles mightily, and asking for a second run, he ends up running Rachin Ravindra out, who sacrifices his wicket in the hopes that Shivam Dube could accelerate at the back end. And so that reckless run out was honestly the nail in the coffin for CSK because in a myriad of application issues, Rachin Ravindra found a way to apply himself, play the straight batted shots, play proper cricketing shots, and find a way to keep going. Shivam Dube was struggling for timing, was struggling for power, and his misery at the crease ended mercifully, bringing in Ravindra Jadeja, who cometh the hour, cometh the man, and this man will put on a show. He struggled with the ball mightily. 3 overs, he gave up 40 runs. But with the bat, like I said, cometh the hour, cometh the man, and he can take games away. 42 from 22, almost got CSK to that 201 that would have put them into the playoffs. Just missed it. And again, sometimes when it's your day, it's your day. Faf du Plessis took one of the greatest catches I've ever seen, just plucking it out of thin air on a Mitchell Santner cover drive that would have surely gone for 4. And here's the thing. That wicket gave the entire world what could have been the final innings of Mahendra Singh Dhoni in professional cricket. And Dhoni almost did it one last time for CSK. Come the final over. 17 needed from 6 just to qualify. At this point, winning's already out the window. 17 needed to qualify off the final 6. He absolutely deposits Yash Dayal for 6 on the very first ball. The same Yash Dayal that last year got carded for 5 sixes in a row against Rinku Singh in KKR. But after that first 6 that went out the stadium, Yash Dayal, who was the man of the moment, absolutely clutched up. Just as the entire RCB team did today, honestly. He absolutely clutched up. The final 5 balls after that first 6. Wicket, dot, 1, dot, dot. That is incredible. And here's the thing. It came down to 10 from 2 for CSK. And CSK fans will remember that fondly. Because that was the exact equation needed last year in the 2023 final with Jadeja on strike. Jadeja got those 10 runs. CSK lifted the trophy for the 5th time. If Jadeja could get those 10 runs, CSK was in the playoffs. Dot, dot, game over. RCB's in, CSK's out. After being carded for 6 off the very first ball, making it come down to 11 from 5. A situation that we've all seen before. Wow. That is called nerves of steel. That is called owning the moment. And that's what RCB did more than CSK today. Owning the moment. RCB owned every single big moment of this match. CSK did not. And this showed, and unlike other games where it showed where 2 teams were headed in 2 different directions, we only see 1 team heading in an upward direction. CSK kind of just felt stagnant, and it shows in the way their entire season's gone, honestly. Throughout their first 8 games, 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 wins, 2 losses. That was the pattern. For the final 6, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Ultimately, that final loss was the official nail in the coffin for a team that just never really hit a slump, but also never got going. And this match kind of showed that. CSK never... Oh, here's the thing. They kind of did hit a slump, especially with losing Ruturaj Gaikwad and Daryl Mitchell in the power play. And they kind of did kick on. But at the same time, neither of those periods truly lasted enough. They didn't completely collapse in a slump, but they also didn't kick on for consecutive overs. They were kind of just there. Rather than trying to get ahead and win, they were just trying to ensure that they made it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And given the myriad of injuries, especially to the bowling for CSK, you have to commend Ruturaj Gaikwad for how he's captained CSK this season. And I think CSK has found their captain of the future. And for CSK, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to reassess, just keep calm, and then figure out how to come back stronger for 2025. For RCB, time to figure out who they play in the Eliminator, and maybe, just maybe, for the first time in franchise history, for the men's team at least, because the women just won their first WPL a couple of months earlier. For the men's team for RCB, perhaps, just perhaps, Isa Cup Namde. Who knows? We still got a week to go, and let's just see what happens. With that, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back for the next one. Have a good one.